are watching.
Let's move on now. What we're hearing is that Janaradhan Reddy has been accused of suicide abetment by a driver who named the mining baron in his suicide letter. A Bellary driver in his suicide note, in fact, has alleged that he was tortured, that he was harassed by the baron, and also along with him a Karnataka bureaucrat, because he allegedly knew just how Janaradhan Reddy was converting over 100 crores of rupees into white money after that big announcement of demonetizing old 500 and 1000 currency notes. Deputy Editor, India Today, Rohini Swami joins us with the very latest. Rohini, first of all, just tell us a little bit more about that suicide letter and about this driver. Was he Janaradhan Reddy's driver?
See, the details that we have got right now from the police is that, yes, he has alleged in his suicide letter that he had to end his life because Janaradhan Reddy had made him convert 100 crores of rupees. Now, the thing is that this particular thing, what I'm understanding from my sources, is that is also in the background of the demonetization, because the amount of money that is parked in his account, he would have to end up paying huge taxes. Which once the IT department gets to know, and that is why, unable to bear that kind of pressure and torture, he ended his life. But his relation with Janaradhan Reddy is yet to be ascertained, but he has mentioned saying that he is a close aide of Janaradhan Reddy. We're waiting for further details, and as and when we shall update.
Absolutely, and this comes as another big blow to the mining baron, isn't it, Rohini? He was just now recently criticized for spending so much of money on that lavish wedding he had organized for his daughter. In fact, even the ED and the income tax are after him as well.
Absolutely. Avantika, the question when demonetization happened was the first thing is having such a huge wedding for his daughter, and when specifically demonetization was to purge for the black money in the country, here was a person who was actually converting money and holding his daughter's wedding. But lots of questions were raised also. The IT department also raided his offices in Bellary and Bangalore soon after. But he claims to have given all the bills for that because he had earlier made arrangements much earlier than when the demonetization happened. But at the same time, yes, questions are being raised time and again, and definitely it will be under the scanner all over again, especially with this letter exposing what he has said. But as of now, an allegation is yet to be proved as a police investigation.
Right, but how seriously will the police also look into the suicide note that has been written by this driver who allegedly committed suicide, saying that he was getting constant death threats because he knew about all the information as to how, according to him, the money was being converted from black to white?
Well, I've been speaking to the police in Mandya, and they have been saying that yes, they have registered a case immediately. They have taken note of this suicide letter that he has left behind. They will definitely question the Janaradhan Reddy family as well as the offices of Janaradhan Reddy to find out what kind of transactions have taken place, because all these transactions, if they have taken place through banks or checks or any other way, then there will be some kind of amount of witnesses who will be involved in that. So there will be a thorough investigation, and I'm also told that the government is considering handing over to the state CID for further investigation if they find the need to be, because then they'll have much more access and probe to look into this entire incident that has taken place, which has named Janaradhan Reddy the former, the mining baron.
Yes, absolutely. And Rohini, just to take you back to that wedding, I mean, it was a wedding that everybody had been talking about, and immediately after that, the income tax department had asked the mining baron to produce details of the income for the wedding.
Yes. That is also based on a complaint.
Okay, stay with me, Rohini. Stay with me. If I may just interrupt, I also have with me right now from the Congress, Tom Badakan. Sir, thank you so much. We've just been talking about the suicide letter that the police have now in their possession, where he alleges that, he has taken this extreme step after receiving death threats from the mining baron. How would you respond and react?
Well, if all the details that's appearing in public domain is correct, this is a tip of an iceberg. The matter is being investigated, as I understand, but now this is a very serious issue. There is a death or suicide note which establishes a direct link, and I think now action should be taken at the strictest level, and I'm sure the state government has already initiated action, and we should see the beginning of the exposure of this baron. and it would be in consonance with action that our Prime Minister says he would do, because the link-ups would be very clear. We would like to know from the government how many more are these cases that are going to emerge in this Operation Black Money.
No, but the Income Tax Department has already, asked for details on the kind of money that he spent recently for his daughter's wedding, and also to produce details of the income for that lavish, that grand wedding that he had organized.
This is a result of the outcry of the public. This is not a suo motu operation that the government has initiated.
Okay.
So it is very important that the details of not only what has happened in the state, but also the happenings in Gujarat and various parts of the country. The operation, I think, the transparency that is required must come out and should be put in place so that the public knows exactly who are the people involved, what is the link-ups. And this is a very serious matter. Otherwise, there will be a serious question mark on the entire operation of demonetization.
Absolutely. Sir, thanks so much for joining us. This is the story about a driver from Bellary who has allegedly committed suicide. He has in fact left behind a suicide note after blaming the Karnataka mining baron, Janaradhan Reddy. He's also named a bureaucrat, and he has accused both of them of harassing him. He's even mentioned that he used to receive death threats, because he claims through that suicide note that he knew about, just how Janaradhan Reddy had been converting black money into white. And that is the news that we have right now. We have Rohini Swami, Deputy Editor, India Today, with us. Rohini, these are very grave allegations. I mean, Janaradhan Reddy being accused of harassment and also abetment to suicide.
Absolutely. Very grave allegation that has been put right now. And he's a driver of a special land acquisition officer. And the allegation clearly says that he was made to convert 100 crores of money, and he was aware of the money trail of Mr. Janaradhan Reddy in certain issues, and his account was used to convert black money into white. And like I was saying, in the background of the demonetization, it will become extremely difficult for a person of his social level to keep that kind of money parked in his account, for the simple reason that once the IT department starts looking at accounts, then he will have to end up paying huge amount of fines. Now, he ended up consuming poison in a lodge in Mandya, but the allegations that are being made in his letter...
Rohini, just stay with me. We also have from the BJP, Shaina NC. Shaina, thanks so much for speaking to us. How would you respond to grave allegations that Janaradhan Reddy faces as a result of that suicide note that has been recovered, which presently is under investigation?
First, I'm not here to defend Mr. Janaradhan Reddy, but let's understand that prima facie the evidence needs to be substantiated, because there is a government official who seems to be a part of this entire conspiracy, which the driver's note suggests.
Yes.
I think we need to understand 2 points. One, our Prime Minister has clearly said that nobody will be shielded if they misuse the law or if there has been any kind of manipulation. Now, this is a statement coming not from a weak leader, but somebody who has the political will to understand that there are people who play with the system, irrespective of being politicians, bureaucrats, businessmen, or for that matter, plain brokers. Anyone who is caught under any kind of manipulative scheme will be brought to task. But it's not for me to pass a judgment at this stage when there is no prima facie investigation. So let the investigation come out into the public domain, and be rest assured that our government will not take it lying down. For those who seem to be only critiquing us, they must understand that 90% of this country stands in solidarity with this move, which is a fight of honesty versus dishonesty. And the 10% who are dishonest and playing with the lacunas in the system will be dealt with severely.
Absolutely. But, Janaradhan Reddy was lately, ma'am, as you would know as well, in the news, and had been facing severe criticism from other opposition leaders for the kind of marriage that he had organized for his daughter. Which was attended, by several politicians, by film industry actors and actresses. Now, the Income Tax Department has asked him to produce details of the income for the wedding. That was about the lavish wedding. Do you also foresee that similar serious investigation will begin into the suicide note as well?
Absolutely. I have no qualms in saying it was nothing but a vulgar display of wealth. And whether it is Mr. Reddy or anybody else who tries to be so grossly flashy and misusing their political clout or their wealth to show this kind of vulgarity must adhere to the system, and nobody is suggesting for a minute that it's not their money, but if it's ill-gotten money, it is clearly the incentive of the government in power to expose people who have manipulated the system or who have used black money. And I think rather than me commenting on it, let the Income Tax Department come up with whatever their findings are, and then it's better to comment.
All right, Shaina NC there. Thank you so much for joining us. Rohini Swami is with us and she's been getting us all the details. Rohini, other than the allegations of harassment that this person seems to have faced from Janaradhan Reddy and the other bureaucrat, any more details that you have about, the kind of information in the suicide note?
See, the only thing, the details that are there largely are about the kind of money trail that and how exactly he's being tortured, the kind of death threats that he's been getting, and he has also given a detail as to when he met with the associates of Janaradhan Reddy and how the money was being asked to be converted. This 11-page suicide note that we have seen is also clearly a reflection of the kind of possible corruption that takes place at the lower rungs of the departments that Janaradhan Reddy also could have been dealing with. Now, he's not he was a part of the BJP government, but at the same time he continues to be in the BJP as he continues to be in a party called BSR Congress at this point of time. But this entire thing, when he was spending his time in jail, a lot of money, especially if his accounts, were frozen. So this could have been during that time when they actually needed to convert that money for sustenance for his family and other kind of businesses that he runs, that this money could have been used. But this is all a part of investigation.
Rohini, did you say that the suicide note is an 11-page note?
Yes, the suicide note is an 11-page note.
And that would be a lot of information for the investigators and the police to look into, isn't it?
Absolutely. And he's given a lot of minute details as to what his relationship is with these associates of Janaradhan Reddy, how they have been threatening him, and who are these people at what locations. So these details will be, like I said, will be investigated by the local police, but the state government is now, because the name of Janaradhan Reddy is being included, they may look at now involving the state CID to look into the investigation of this particular case.
Okay, Rohini, thank you so much for joining us, and keep a close track of the developments into the story.
You are watching